Okie dokie. Today is all about Alkyds. This is a painting that was started yesterday, so 24 hours ago, and this is you can hear it, right? Slightly scratch it. Nothing's coming off. This is ideal. This is what you want when you are trying to knock out paintings in a reasonable amount of time. So on my palette, you can see an array of colors. Don't worry about what colors I'm using. Just focus on the fact that they are Winsor Newton Griffin Alkyds. I have used other Alkyds in the past, but I find that Winsor Newton Griffin Alkyds are pretty much the very best I have ever used. Probably one of the best paints I've ever used. Again, I am not sponsored by this company, so you know that what I'm telling you is 100% like, what I think. So this is the Griffin Alkyd. You can see how much of it I use. I'm pretty much almost out of this tube. What I like about them is that they dry within probably about like 6 hours. It's dry, ready enough for you to work on it again. Hey Gigi, welcome. So it's like about 6-8 hours. I'd say they're dry enough to work again. So and they're pretty affordable. They're not as expensive as other oil paints out there. Say, I don't know, the non-Alkyds, right? If you buy, okay, so look at this. Their cadmium red is a hue. Okay, so this is cadmium red light. You can see here it's not very chromatic. So a tube of it will cost you probably like $8 on sale, and they're usually on sale. Just don't buy them on Amazon, even though I have Amazon links down in the description. Go to a site like Jerry's, Artorama if you're in the US, or if you're not in the US, I think Jackson's is the one that everybody uses. So they're not that expensive, and you end up not having to deal with cadmiums. If you don't want to deal with cadmiums, that's kind of a good thing for you. They are workable for up to, I want to say, an hour and a half to 2 hours unmodified. If you add a little bit of linseed oil to your brush, then you give yourself perhaps an extra hour, so you've got 2 hours now that the paint is workable. That's a pretty decent amount of time if you are going to be trying to knock out paintings in a reasonable amount of time, like I said. So you really don't want to spend more than 2 hours on one section of a painting because it just is not practical for you. If you're trying to turn a profit, you don't want your paintings to take you that long per layer, per section. So basically you create kind of like a conveyor belt of paintings. I've heard some comments about them drying darker. I have not noticed that at all. This did not dry darker. So I don't know. I could have done a test, and I can probably still do a test, though I don't really think I deem it that necessary to do a test between the drying speed, or not the drying speed, but how it darkens. I think pretty much all oil paints dry darker somewhat over time. They do darken over time. That's just because linseed oil, it kind of does that. So this is a short video. This is a live stream, very short. I'm going to talk about pretty much everything that Alkyds has been helping me with, but also the downsides of Alkyds. There are downsides to everything. So I'm going to talk about pretty much the only downside to Winsor Newton Griffin Alkyds, and Alkyds in general. Hey, Yellow Red 99, welcome. Okay, so here's the only downside to Alkyds. And it's going to be the same downside to liquid, or I guess, yeah, we can compare it to liquid. It's the same downside to liquid, and that's going to be the Alkyd smell. It does emit an odor. It does contain petroleum distillates in the paint already. So that is the pretty much the only downside to the Alkyds that I see thus far in my painting career with the Alkyds. And I have heard people say things like they prefer their paints or their mediums to have an odor because then you know where it is. So that's kind of like reason enough to use something like spike lavender or turpentine, even though turpentine is kind of outdated at this point, but people still use it. At least you know where the the solvent is in the air. Okay, so at least you know where it is. It doesn't last forever. It goes away. You open a window, have a fan, and it's not so bad. If you are uh, a working artist or student and you don't have any kids, or like someone that's sensitive to the air quality, then there's really no reason for you not um, to use these. Part of me, admittingly, does not want to share this with you because it's taken me so many years to finally get into a rhythm of which I can not have to deal with the drying times, the layering methods. Yeah, it's just taken me a long time to really realize how useful these colors are. Like I said, I completely blew it with this painting yesterday, and not technique wise. I didn't do too many things wrong with the technique. I just had some technical issues, which is why that video is hilarious. It's titled Epic Fail. Not because the painting was a fail, but because just everything that could go wrong went wrong. I turned my phone onto airplane mode, which might get me in trouble, but I just can't deal with the distractions while painting anymore. So yeah. But anyway, that's pretty much about it. There's nothing really that bad about using Alkyds. I will say they do not sink in as much as regular oil paints do, which could be a concern. Why they don't sink in as much. I've noticed that with other types of paint, like water mixable oil paints, I noticed that they don't quite sink in that much. You can compare this to the way it looked yesterday, and it really hasn't changed all that much. And the way that I like to work is about an hour, 2 hours at a time per section, about this size, like the size of my hand. I just don't see it necessary to spend longer than that. And I work on multiple paintings a day. Today I was working on frames. I'm trying to create my own kind of rectangular frames. So that's why I was a little late today. But I don't know. Let me know if you've created your own frames before. It's actually kind of fun, therapeutic in a way, but it kind of hurts my back. I'm not really that much of a lumber worker, but anyway. Yeah, so they don't sink in quite as much as the traditional oil paints. But do be advised, Even the tubes themselves, have a warning on them. It says, warning, vapor harmful, contains petroleum distillates. So if you are like super duper concerned with the air quality in your studio, then that would be a no-no for you. The secret really is do not thin them out too much. If you thin them out, especially with odorless mineral spirits, they will smell stronger. If you use a lot of them at once, they will smell stronger. So I only use as much as I can use or finish that day. Even this is a lot. I don't think I should have put that much paint out, but put out as much paint as you're going to use that day. You can't really save them by like putting them in a container. They will dry. And I already have a pre-recorded that I've been working on. Like I said, I'm probably going to discard this series, swap it out with more realistic stuff, and do pre-recorded videos with these Alkyds. I've already got one that I've been working on. So yeah, this series is probably done. It was a fun experiment. You know I like to experiment with different types of painting and content. But if I'm going to survive here on YouTube, I cannot keep doing stuff that people just don't want to watch. But at least I tried. Also, if you are... Again, I'm reluctant to share this because, I feel like it's my own thing that I figured out. But I'll share it with you anyway. If you are going to be creating paintings to sell for the hope of, making a profit out of it, Alkyds are the way to go because you can knock out a painting in a week and varnish it the next week or even the next day. You can use Gamvar. I like to use Gamvar gloss. Thanks, Yellow Red 99. You can use Gamvar gloss. I like the gloss for the varnish. Frame it, and there you go. You got a finished painting. For me, a painting is finished, really finished, when it's varnished, framed, documented in terms of the photography, and has a price tag on it. For me, that's when a painting is finished. And I will be doing that. I already started doing that. Paintings to sell. And of course, like I said before, I've got some new content that's going to be coming out for my online classes. And I'm going to integrate different materials. So if you want to use acrylic, watercolor, pastel, water mixable, I'm incorporating that into the program. And I'm also incorporating compositional studies so that I can also put still life and landscape. But it's all in the writing stage right now. emphasis is going to be on classical realism, not this. I mean, this is unfinished. This is an alla prima start. Of course, you can start any painting however you want. This is actually how I start my studio work anyway. But for YouTube, I'm gonna, put out some stuff that will become more realistic than this. I guess another con with the Alkyds is they're rough on your brushes. It's a double-edged sword. I don't need to be using this brush. I just picked it up because that's what was closest to me. And because I know I'm not going to paint that long. But I wouldn't go a full 2 hours with a bristle brush. Alkyds actually let you use cheap brushes. Like, seriously cheap brushes. Because once they start to stiffen, the colors start to stiffen, it actually gives you more control. Oh, thanks, Gigi. I'm not going to disappear with the live streams. I'm just going to... The next one is probably going to be the start of something long-term. So I'm going to use... I already have a wooden panel. I actually only have one left that I've been gessoing for a while. Really smooth surface. So I'm going to start a more... what will be a more realistic one. So kind of circa 2020, what I used to do back then. And I'm going to integrate that into my online courses. But I'm not going to disappear. I won't stop streaming. It's just the portrait sketch idea just never took off. And I gave it a long time. I gave it 21 videos. It never took off, so it's okay. It's okay. Try something new once in a while. But no, I'm not gonna disappear. I'll continue streaming. So allow me to talk a little bit about what I'm going to be offering with my online coursework. What I'm going to be offering is a modification of the classic atelier system of learning how to paint, learning how to draw. The art world is rigged in a way. Let me tell you why. It's rigged in the sense that you have to have the money to go to a school to study in person. You have to have the time, meaning you don't have responsibilities at home. You don't have any kids. You don't have a job that you need to worry about. You don't have bills you have to pay. And you just happen to be in your early 20s or late teens. That's the kind of student that ateliers really develop. But and of course working from life. Now if you can't go to an atelier, then everyone will tell you work from life, have somebody pose for you, and yeah, right, that's gonna be possible. But what I am incorporating into my teaching method, again, I'm going to modify the atelier system. What I'm going to add that has not, to my knowledge, been done before is you're going to be building, and I don't want to give away too much, but you're going to be building your skill set with the same consecutive projects that you do in an atelier, but I'm going to be modifying it such that you can incorporate still life, landscape, in particular plein air. I'll show you how to do that. Self-portraits, which I know many of you don't want to do, but you don't have to share them if you don't want to. Incorporating it into the coursework so that there is a balance of painting from life whenever you can. But it will build students starting off with drawing first. Different from my previous online courses, which built you up from painting projects. And those are going to remain, and I'm going to rename them as the Teach Yourself self-teaching videos, playlists. This time, it's going to be projects that are more catered towards building your drawing first, your paint handling second, and then finally your color work, and then ultimately going into more advanced topics. So yeah, it's fun. I'm in the writing stage of it all. As of now, it's a 5-stage or 5-level process, but I might bring it down to 4 levels. And obviously the only way I can promote it to you is by showing you paintings that are worthy of you studying with me. A majority of people will see this and not want to take a class with the person that did this. Yeah, I understand. It's not done. It's not finished. But in the future streams, I will make that more obvious to you. Mainly just by changing the title. So I'm just building through tiling. So one plane at a time. I will say that alkyds are not as saturated as the regular oil paints. So phthalo blue, actually I think phthalo blue is just as bright, but I think I'm talking more about the cadmium substitutes. They're not as bright. But other than that, they're pretty much the same in terms of their saturation. So I think they're not as colorful as the regulars because of the lack of cadmiums. But I'm okay with that because um, as you layer, I've noticed this as you continue layering, even though they're not as bright, and I think it could be because of the transparency, it still reaches the brightness of a cadmium. It just takes more than one layer to do it. And the Winsor Newton Alkyds offer a broad range of colors, ranging from ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, dioxazine purple, alizarin crimson, magenta, no, but permanent rose. I think they have a permanent rose. I didn't. I was at the store today, but no, I didn't buy it. I should have. But I like their Naples yellow hue for skin tones. Um, phthalo green, chrome green. It's a wonderful green to use. It's way better than sap green um, for portraiture. So the color range is, I would say, magnificent. Throw in a word there, it's magnificent. It's exceptional, the color range. It's quite a range of color. And they're affordable. They are affordable. But you gotta learn how to use them. Don't expect them to be workable as long as your regular oil paints are. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you can use them as an underpainting and you can use them to complete the whole painting. Yeah, you can. You can use them as an underpainting. I think that's what most people use them for, actually. Most people will use them for underpainting only. That's why they only sell, I think that's why they only sell one big tube, and that's the titanium white. But they do have a mixing white. I didn't buy it. It's $7 a tube at the store. I think it's like $10 on Amazon. Jerry's Artorama, it's about like $6 or $7 a tube. I have tried other Alkyds, in particular one that's like labeled CAS Alkyds. They're pretty cheap too, but they are not. They just they become touch dry just as fast, but they're still gooey the next day. Winsor Newton's the only one that is touch dry quick, but it's not gooey the next day. As you see, I can scratch at it. Nothing comes off. I I have walked past the oil sticks so many times at the local art store, and I wanted to try them, but I don't know really. Um, I'm sure I will try them at some point, but I've never tried them. They're like $10 a stick, which to me, I don't know. It doesn't make sense for me to. Like, it's the Zorn palette will cost me 50. Because I wouldn't just get like a regular red. I'd have to get like a cadmium, so it would cost double for one of them, the red. Hey, Corhan. Yeah, so Alkyds are probably the number one paint that I recommend now to anyone that's trying to produce a steady flow of paintings. If you just paint once in a while, say you only paint once a week, twice a week, then it's not worth it for you. I'm going to just be clear with that because, like I said, no one's paying me. And even if they were paying me, I would tell you the same thing. It's not, it's not worth it. Might as well just get the regular oil paints, so you don't have to deal with the smell. But if you're trying to produce a steady flow or series of paintings, and I mean realistic paintings, Alkyd's better for realistic paintings. That I mean, you can use them for anything, but I like them for realism because you can layer. You can go through the full classical process much faster. But if you're only painting once a week, it's not worth it for you. And I have not completely abandoned my water mixables. I've seen a couple comments about it. I've also seen comments about translations of my videos to Italian. I checked my analytics and it does say that my videos are being translated, but it seems that there's only like a small percentage. So I think that the if you're watching this and you're still wondering why they're not in Italian, I think that's up to at this point it's up to YouTube determining whether my videos are worth it to them, to translate. Some of them, I guess, that have more views, have been translated to many different languages, including Italian. But something like this that's probably not going to see more than 1,000 views in its lifetime probably won't. But one of my favorite colors with the Alkyds is chrome green. They're chrome green. It's such a nice green color. It's almost like an emerald green in the regular. As you see here, the color range is not lacking at all. Like I said, this is something that's so important to me, and it's taken me so long to figure out that I almost didn't want to share it. I almost just wanted to keep it all to myself. I was actually talking to Lucy about this yesterday, like, do I really want to share this? Like, do I really want... It took me forever. Do I really want to share this? I didn't paint as much in the past. I would paint maybe, I don't know, 4 days a week. I would make videos for Patreon, work on my pre-recordeds for YouTube, do live streams 4 times a week, and that would be it. But now that I'm painting every day, Monday through Sunday, Sunday through Monday, this is a staple. This is a must for me. I have almost all of them. I have a whole drawer of Alkyds. Like I said, I don't have permanent rows. I don't have Van Dyke Brown. There's some of them I don't have, but I do have most of them. Like, this is a lot of and they're only like $6 or $7 each. So it's more affordable, but the list is pretty long. But in terms of the reds for portraiture, let me tell you something. Burnt sienna, Naples yellow hue, white and black is an exceptional set of colors for skin tones. I started my pre-recorded video with those colors before eventually adding alizarin and red. So I have a lot of them. But they're so useful to me, I almost don't want to use them for YouTube videos. I want to save them for my studio work. But now that I'm going to be transitioning back into more realistic stuff with YouTube, now I can use them. That's why I'm introducing them to you right now. Because things are about to change again. We're going back to realism. You have one, you said cadmium yellow light. It's a good one to have, especially if you mix it with your regular cadmium yellow. It's good to mix them too with the regulars. With the regular everyday normal oil paints. That way you have the opacity of the regulars, in particular the cadmiums, and you have the fast drying quality. Not as fast drying, but you have a faster drying paint than you would had you not used the Alkyds. Right now I'm using a lot of the Naples yellow hue. Oh, thanks, Yellow Red. Glad you liked that I'm painting with them. I forgot about them too, to be honest. When I first started using them, when I first started using them, I would mix them with the regulars. Because I was like, they dry too fast. And then I realized I can add a little bit of linseed oil. And you know how the oil pretty much stays on the brush anyway, so it gives you a whole extra hour or so. It gives you a lot more time. You posted your I don't know what the water soluble wax pastels. Where'd you post it? To Facebook? Or for some reason I don't get a lot of the Instagram shares. Tell you what, Instagram does not like me. I feel like they're out to get me for some reason. But who understands these algorithms other than the creators? Yeah, I'll get in trouble if I paint a celebrity. Yeah, I could do it and hope for the best and not get demonetized, but most likely what they'll do is just take away any type of monetization from the video. Unless the celebrity themselves, like if I take the picture of them, they'd have to set up an appointment with me. You know, I've got a very busy schedule of painting celebrities, so they gotta schedule an appointment with me and we meet, um, do a sketch from life, and have my professional camera crew film the whole process. You know, the usual. Tell you what, though, um, I mean, not to be such a negative person, but the oil painting, I mean, just the art world itself is just so rigged. If Taylor Swift started, if Taylor Swift decided to sing part time and start selling paintings of seashells, say she did some watercolors of seashells and started selling them, she would probably still be more successful than most painters in the entire world. Probably make more money than a Rembrandt painting would. So that's why it pays to be famous. It pays to have a lot of friends if you're trying to make it in the art world. Me, I don't have a lot of friends. I've lost a lot of friends, sometimes due to art itself, but um, it kind of goes with the cliche of Sargent saying, "The more I paint, every time I paint a portrait, I lose a friend." It's kind of true, really. But that's the art. The art world is just so messed up. YouTube is so messed up. Like, and I'm not there to shame anybody, but if you look at, I've seen some content out there, and yes, there are beautiful people out there, and there are beautiful people out there that can do mid-level paintings. Like, not, I'd consider this probably like a mid-level. Um, like, yeah, they show themselves. You know who I'm talking about. They show themselves off on the internet and get so much more attention for it. Their paintings get so much more attention. And at what point does it lose something, you know? This is why I've never been good at marketing or business, because I don't like that stuff. It drains your soul, drains my soul. Like, I don't want to show my figure off. Like, when I'm trying to market a painting. If anything, I've gained weight over the past like week or 2 weeks. You wouldn't buy if Taylor Swift painted a what did I say? If Taylor Swift started a series of acrylic paintings of shells, honestly, I would buy it because I would try to turn a profit out of it. That's why it's so messed up. But maybe I wouldn't. I don't like the idea of it. So, if I had a soul, I wouldn't buy it. But in the end of the day, it's all about survival, isn't it? Before I go, I want to show something kind of cool. Like I said, these streams are very improvised, and even when I switch to more realistic paintings, they're still going to be the same, more improvised kind of things. Of course, when I do a pre-recorded here and there, it's going to be pre-recorded. But I got something cool I want to show. And no, it's not me. What's going on? Another person online? You know, like I would honestly, if I could control my schedule, I wouldn't stream this early. But it's nice to have some people from like London and stuff join in. But yeah, I'm in a studio apartment, so when my wife shows up, I cannot stream anymore. And I hate. I mean, I really do care for her, but I really hate when she gets off of work early because it's a problem. It's a huge problem for me. And I can't afford my own studio somewhere else. I just can't. We were just talking about that, something about that, like the art market and how messed up it is. Another person online. I don't differentiate like darker skin or lighter skin. I don't have a particular palette that I like more for any different skin tones. But since I'm on the Alkyd topic with this video, white, Naples yellow hue, burnt sienna, and ivory black are really good for every type of skin tone. I like it better than the Zorn palette, to be honest. It's easier to use than the Zorn palette. Um, oh yeah, the other part of the question. So for these skin tones, I guess for the tannish color, I pretty much did use burnt sienna, Naples yellow, and black. I did use a little bit of chrome green. Chrome green and alizarin is how I got these colors right here. Chrome green and alizarin. I'm glad you like the orange and blue. But yeah, they're actually the same colors that I would use with lighter skin tones. There really is no difference. It's just the different ratios. Maybe the next one I'll start with just burnt sienna, Naples yellow, hue, white, and black. I really like that limited palette. I think I need a little more blue, or maybe less blue. I don't know. Let's make this a little less blue here. Oh, those are tough. Another person online. Paintings of babies are tough. Because let's face it, babies on their own already look kind of like scary. They're like little little human beings that are loud and very important to protect. Yeah, that's a scary subject. almost done with today. I'm not gonna say this painting is gonna be done. Like I said, I'm transitioning back into more realistic stuff. So, sketch series is probably completed at 20 paintings. I won't count this one in that series anymore. I guess it wouldn't be fair. Yeah, the babies are terrifying. Yellow, red, 99. I like abstract painting as a study, more as a compositional study. Pretty much all old master paintings or all representational paintings can be, composition can be studied in the abstract. So I like it for that reason. But it's not like I'd go out of my way to buy an abstract painting. Honestly, I think abstract painting in the 1950s was more of a money than it was actual art. Because I think, painters like Jackson Pollock, Mark Rothko, the two abstract painters that come to mind, their paintings didn't have to take that long, and dealers loved that. So it's all about supply and demand. That's why I'm saying with these Alkyds can really expedite the process. But as an aesthetic, I don't really buy into abstract. Just as a study of composition. Yeah, Picasso and Cubism, I think it's the same thing. I mean, yeah, like abstraction is all about composition. Composition isn't just merely one element of painting. Uh, Picasso was, again, more of a publicity stunt than an artist. I wouldn't really consider him an artist to begin with. I think Picasso was more of a business person that sold his crazy attitude towards the world. But I wouldn't really consider him like a fine artist. He'd be more of like a commercial artist. And that would, mean that it's more about the consumerism than it is about the product or the craftsmanship. So yeah, same thing with Picasso. The whole realism versus abstract or expressionism thing, that was more of like a 20th century problem. I think in the 21st century, most people understand that, you know, there really is technique out there. But everyone has their own taste. There are people out there that do genuinely like uh, Rothko, Picasso, uh, Cezanne. It's fine. If that's what they like, it's fine. No problem there. Like architecture too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. It probably has something to do with everything, like consumerism wise. Money corrupts everything. Like once there's enough money involved in something, some kind of corruption follows. I mean, it's just human history repeating itself constantly over and over. If money corrupts everything, then believe me, I'm the least corrupt painter out there. Let me tell you that much. If money corrupts everything, I am the least corrupt you will find. Okay. Now I'm running out of time. I want to show you something that I have, an item. I'll bring it around from time to time and relate things art wise to it because it's actually a lot that relates to art. Alright, give me a second. I'll be right back. So I've recently been kind of getting into some more historical stuff. So like ancient artifacts. So I've got a see if you can see it. It's it's a Greek coin. So it's supposed to be the thing I bought it from says Philip the Third, looking at 322, 319 BC. So it's an antique, super antique coin. But I think that the head, it says the head's supposed to be it says Hercules to the right, wearing a lion skin or something like that. It's actually kind of a common silver coin that you can find. You can buy ancient coins for pretty inexpensive, but I got this one at a coin show from a very reputable dealer, so I know that this is not fake. But this is kind of cool to have something like this. So how does this relate to painting? There's so many ways that it relates to painting. Number one, portraiture. Just the idea of putting a face to a piece of metal has transcended time. It's been part of human currency for forever. I mean, the dollar bills, like pretty much all of them have portraiture on it. Not an abstraction. They have a finished portrait. So that's why I'm bringing the coin up, because if abstract was such a big thing to humans, if we really did resonate with it beyond currency, then our very own currency itself would have had more abstraction to it. but it just so happens that it does not. We resonate more with this, with I don't know, I guess the humanism behind it. It's cool, right? Yeah, yeah. I got this coin for under 100. To be exact, I got it for 90. Um, and I have another one I'll show later, like maybe the next day. I have a Byzantine one that I got for cheap also. So they're pretty inexpensive now. You can collect ancient coins for not a lot of money. But you have to be careful though. Don't buy them from eBay. Don't buy them from. Just don't buy them online. Go to coin shows, because their reputation is their entire life is based on not selling fakes. So it has something to do with portraiture. I really really enjoy it. Just the idea of ancient coins and how portraiture, especially the Romans, Roman coins. Romans were at the height of their time, and so was their art. Compare it to the Byzantine that happened afterwards, and it's like night and day. It's like a toddler is like trying to draw a portrait. That's what Byzantine coins look like to me. The time after the fall of Rome. But still, I like it. I like Byzantine era because Vikings, right? Vikings had Byzantine coins. Whether they stole them or whatever, it's kind of cool. I don't know. I like it. I like the history. All right, I'm way out of time now, and yeah, more realistic paintings are coming. So what that means is when I stream, the stream will say starting. It should say, if I remember, the stream will say starting something. Okay, okay. Now the face is a little more developed. Alrighty. So that's all I got for everybody. Once upon a time, I used to. Once upon a time, we used to have so many people here that I would have to say, I'll stay here for a minute for any last minute questions. Anybody remember that? There used to be enough people that I would say that. And again, I get it. It's time to move back to more realistic and educational stuff. I get it. I get it. So, yeah, that's what we'll do. I won't go anywhere. I'm not going to disappear for weeks on end or anything like that. So, I'll be here. Don't you worry. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I wish you the very best. And if you haven't tried Alkyds yet, and you have, the space to try them out. Try them out. Thanks, another person online. Thank you. Alrighty, so me and my Greek coin are signing out. Thank you so much. I shall see you next time.